Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. While listening to Sports Talk Radio the past couple of days, I learned some things about Cleveland fans that I really didn't know. They must be so used to winning around here that it's okay to get disappointed when they don't like the way the games have been won. All I know is the Browns are 2-1. They have beaten the teams they were supposed to beat, and if they keep doing that and find a way to sneak out a win or two that they're not supposed to have, this is going to be a really fun season. We've got Mary Kay Cabot with us. More Sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com. Tuesday night means it's Mary Kay Cabot time. Mary Kay covering the Browns. And, boy, you've been really good covering the Browns 2 weeks and not so good 1 week this year.
Yeah, can you believe it? Over 500 for the first time since 2014 and 2-1 for the first time since 2011. It's really hard to believe some of those numbers.
It's hard to believe the schedule makers could make it that way, to make it so tough for teams like the Browns to win. But interesting game the other day. I don't know if you heard my commentary before, but the fans seem to, they're in a position where they think winning is so easy that they can now pick and choose how you win games. These people don't like the way they won the other day.
Well, you know what? Hey, the bar is getting set higher. And I think that's kind of as it should be. The bar should be set high for a football team that has all these first-round picks, all these high-priced free agents, all the things that have happened on this team. It's time for fans, I think, to expect some big things from the team. And I think they have every right to want the team to win in a certain kind of a way.
Yeah, the unfortunate part is with the cutting down to 6,000 fans a game, you've missed the tremendous opportunities, merchandising, excitement, the home field advantage. How does a stadium sound to you? For example, a home game.
What? It sounds loud. It really does sound very loud. You would be very surprised how loud 6,000 people can sound. But it seems like that, coupled with the canned crowd noise, I mean, it kind of all works together to make it seem like there's actually something going on in there. It looks bad, but it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and they did a nice job with it. That's easy to overdo and make it bad, but they did a good job for the most part. All right, the NFL's almost worst nightmare has come true, and that's what's happened today with the Titans and the Vikings. Both have been asked to close their facilities. The Vikings have had three players who have tested positive, 5 personnel people, and this is really, as I mentioned, the worst nightmare for Roger Goodell.
Well, again, it's not completely, entirely unexpected. The NFL did not go into this season thinking that they were going to go through 16 weeks and not have a few incidents like this. That would have been unrealistic. There are too many cases going on in the United States right now. There's just too much. There are too many positive tests out there for the NFL to think that they were going to completely get off scot-free. But they have contingency plans. Who knows if these positive tests will even be positive tests over the next couple of days. I mean, the Browns went through a situation where they had more false positives than the positives that the Titans just had. And within the next day, everything was fine. So I think it's one of those things where they've got to come back. They've got to test these guys again and see if this is anything to really worry about.
Have they said beforehand what will happen here? Not a punishment, but what will happen as far as testing is concerned? Will it be any different because it's hit now in the part of the season that they thought they'd get around?
No, because they're still testing every day. So there's really nothing more that they can do. They're already doing daily testing, and they've got so many protocols in place, and they are really sticking to their guns on everything. I mean, you go out to Browns practice, and they are not messing around with where you can stand, when you can walk somewhere or anything like that. So, they're being very, very strict about it, and it has paid off.
Well, so you're under the gun too then on a daily basis.
Yeah, we have to do our part. That's for sure. Now, there are different tiers, and I'm not in a tier where I actually, can attend a press conference in person like with Kevin Stefanski. We don't have those. I don't think they have any tier two media that can do that. So, we don't really have to worry too much about, getting close enough to impact someone, but still we all have to do our part.
Do you think that the Browns PR staff actually likes it? They don't like all the stuff going with it, but do you think they like the fact that there's not a daily press conference and they're trying to make do as they can and it actually works out to their benefit?
No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody likes the way that this is going. I don't think anybody likes the way that we have to do business right now. I think we're all just pulling together, doing the best we can. I think the Browns would prefer to have us, in person, getting to know their players and telling their stories and talking to the coach face to face and all the things the way they've always been done.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay Cabot is with us, covering the Browns for so many years with the Plain Dealer and with cleveland.com. You can also email us to the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Tomorrow night, the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, will join us. Mary Kay, 3 games into the books, lost and 2 wins against teams probably they should have lost to and teams they should have won against. What do you like about the first 3 weeks of the season?
Well, there's 2 things that I really like a lot. On the offensive side of the ball, I can't say enough about the run game, can't say enough about Nick Chubb, how hard he is running, and the way that everybody is pulling together in that effort. The offensive line is very good. The receivers are blocking downfield. Everybody is doing their part to blast open some of those holes, and then those guys, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, are really running like crazy. So you've got to love that. It's kind of Cleveland Browns football, and it will also serve them well once you get into November, December. And I think it's sustainable because you have those 2 guys. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm seeing things from Myles Garrett that I always wanted to see more of in his first 2 seasons. I just never thought that he was doing enough to say, hey, look, I'm a generational player. I'm the number 1 overall pick. I'm going to ruin this football game for you, and I'm going to make your life really difficult today. Now he's doing those kinds of things, and it's exactly what they need.
You say that with a smile on your face. It's like you're going in to kill some guy, and I think I'll smile on my way in.
I just think it's great. I think it's great for the Browns. I think it's great for Myles and for their fans to see him playing with his hair on fire. Finally, I've been calling for it. I've been, very vocal about saying that, you need more from him, and now they're getting it.
That strip sack is an amazing move. It's so quick and so hard. I would imagine it's kind of shocking to the ball carrier when he first sees it or feels it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the great thing about that play was the fact that he stuck with it enough to catch the loose football. So he recovered it. He hit the trifecta, strip, sack, recovery. So that was really, really great on his part. And as he moves forward in this next game, I think there will be more opportunities to do the same. And the cool thing about Myles this season is that they're moving him around. I always wondered before why they never did that. They never really moved him around. But this new coaching staff with defensive coordinator Joe Woods, he's putting him over guards at times. He's putting him on the left side. He's putting him on the right side. You never know where to find him.
All right, tell me, you've told me what you like so far after 3 games. What don't you like after 3 games? Put them in 2 categories. One where you think you don't like it, but they'll take care of it, or one you don't like it and it's maybe stuck with it.
Well, the first thing I would have to say is probably special teams. I mean, special teams just hasn't been good enough to really help them win a game. I think it's vitally important that they get better at special teams. It was a liability, especially in the first 2 games of the season. Now, the last game, it didn't hurt them, but it didn't really necessarily overly help them either. So I think they need to get a better performance out of their special teams. And, then I still think that Baker needs to do some things better. I think he just needs to continue to keep coming up that learning curve and do his job a little bit better.
I'm wondering on the special teams, they kind of had a quick trigger on getting rid of the kicker. after the first week. Probably that was decided at halftime, I would guess, of Game 1. But they need a little more consistency, so they can't use that at every position on the special teams, I don't think.
No, but what will happen is they have some guys coming back from injury on the defensive side of the ball. And that will help their special teams, because some of these guys that were normally really great special teams players and making a difference over there, like a Tavier Thomas, he had to be bumped up to play nickelback. So, so I think the special teams will get a little bit better as they get some of their guys back.
I'm trying to think with Joe Cribbs being the one guy, but it's been a long time since there's been anybody consistent on the return game.
That's true.
Or I'm sorry, Joshua Cribbs.
Yeah, that's true. And now their leading punt returner, Jojo Natson, is now on injured reserve with a torn ACL. So they've got to do some fixing of the program here. They're going to have to interview a few candidates that are currently on their own team. They also have Donovan Peoples-Jones, who can return punts. And they tried out a wide receiver, Ryan Switzer, today. So we'll have to see how that goes.
216-575-0403. Mary Kay Cabot is with us from the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more sports and less Levine. And you can respond. We put a question up in the morning. You can respond all day long. You'll get it read on the show that night. Pretty simple to do. More sports and less Levine continues in a moment, powered by cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Less Levine. Les, Mary Kay, you guys mentioned it earlier. The Browns are over 500 for the first time since 2014. Adam Schein of NFL.com lists a couple of key factors for the Browns to be a contender for the playoffs this year. Here's what he had to say. Cleveland needs to beat inferior teams. That's how you make the playoffs. And on Sunday, the Browns overwhelmed Washington with the best 1-2 running back punch in the game today. Baker Mayfield only had to throw the ball 23 times, compiling 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, and most importantly, 0 picks. That's winning football, and that's how the Browns make the playoffs, on the legs of Chubb and Hunt. So, Les, Mary Kay, my question to you is this. If you could pick one key factor for the Browns to be a playoff contender this year, what would that be?
You know, I'm going to stick with that running game. I think that everything can come and flow from there. And with these two guys together, as I mentioned before, I think it's sustainable. I think not only can they keep it going into the fourth quarter of games, I think they'll be able to keep it going throughout the season and all the way down the stretch. So I think that's going to be the key to everything. It powers this play action based scheme, and I think it will help Baker Mayfield get better as the weeks go by.
All right, as we all know, injuries are part of the game. Is it fair to say, though, that if you're going to get injured somewhere, getting injured at that running game is the one you can overcome?
Well, you know, they certainly have an amazing 1-2 punch, which has been so effective right now. But if you lost one of those guys, at least you do have the other one. So, yes, I would say that that is one place where it would be the least catastrophic.
You know, we talked about this the last week or two, and that is the construction of the team and the roster. And the Browns, when they've had good running backs, and we're going all the way back to Jimmy Brown, when they had Jim Brown, they had Leroy Kelly with him at the end of his career. They had other running backs. Ernie Green was one, and then you got into the Pruitt guys and others. There seemed not to be just one running back, Mary Kay, but there seems like there were two, which is almost impossible to prepare for.
It is impossible to prepare for, or almost impossible to prepare for, when you have everything else that you have on this football team. It's not like they just have that. Now let's look at like the Patriots, for instance. You know, they are very run dominated and run oriented right now, but they don't have, the Jarvis Landrys and the Odell Beckham Jr.'s and the Austin Hoopers to go along with it. It really is a pick your poison offense right now. If you can't do one thing well, you should be able to do the other well. If these guys can get the run game going, or at least fake the run, that opens up a deep pass to Odell Beckham Jr. So once they really get this thing going, there's enough talent on this football team to be a very dangerous offense.
Mary Kay, between the two of them, the running backs, is there a speed factor that's different, that much different one to the other? In other words, if you're the defensive line, do you have to be prepared for one rate of speed versus the other rate, or is it the way it's supposed to be?
I think they're pretty similar in that regard, in terms of power, explosiveness, and ability to run guys over and throw guys onto your back and take them into the end zone. I think, it's not like you've got one little scat back and, one big bruising guy. I think they're very similar in terms of in their running styles. But, then Kareem has the added dimension of a little bit more of the ability. I mean, look at that catch he made. It was an Odell Beckham Jr. like one-handed sideline catch. That was an amazing catch. So he brings that to the table as well. But don't sell Nick Chubb short on being able to catch the ball out of the backfield, because he can do it, and he even did it in this past game.
Yeah, if Hunt is maybe one more yard inbounds, he gets up, catches that ball, gets up, and runs for a touchdown.
Yeah. And, I think you're going to see that. You're going to see that these guys, the coaching staff is now just starting to figure out what they have and what these guys can do together and how they want to use them. I think in the first couple of games, they went a little bit simple. Now I think they're taking it up a notch and adding some things, adding some new wrinkles, and the game plan will evolve over the next several weeks.
Is there a number you can put on the percentage of what they have now installed in the offense?
I would say maybe like 60% or so right now. But yeah, I would think that there'll be plenty more where that came from.
All right, they're at the three games in the books, 1 win, 2 losses. Do you think the coaching staff is just trying to make sure that what they have they'll continue to do, or do you think they're going to move things over and try to add more stuff to it? I would think if with a start like this, you want to keep doing what you're doing.
Well, you know what? Yeah, you want to keep doing what you're doing. But, I think that they also recognize that they other weapons that they can utilize. And you want to be able to do that. You want to be able to get Odell more involved. You want to get Jarvis more involved. You want Austin Hooper to be more involved. You don't want these Pro Bowlers to be getting frustrated and not to be utilized. And you also want to hurt and attack a defense in so many different ways. Okay. So I would expect that you will see plenty more from this offense as they move on.
All right. So here's the weekly question you have to ask, and I suppose it depends on whether Baker plays well and or the team plays well, and that is where are you on the Baker Mayfield chart right now? On the upswing, on the downside? What are you thinking? You know what?
I think he needs to show more. I think he needs to. To take it up a notch. The way that I mentioned that Myles Garrett is really, kind of taking over his side of the ball, setting the tone, and being that number 1 overall pick generational player. Now I think it's time for Baker Mayfield to do that on his side of the ball. I think he needs to not just be, just kind of managing the game. I think that he needs to occasionally do a little bit more than that, win a game, go down and, and make that an amazing throw. Now, he did have a nice fourth quarter comeback in this game. And, he did throw 2 second half touchdowns that really helped in this game. But I still think he needs to take it up a notch.
How much are you concerned about him going basically back home to Texas, to Dallas here to play? There's always a lot of Texas players, a lot of pressure on them when they go back. Do you expect that to be a factor as we get ready for Sunday's game?
He might have a little bit extra for going back there, but I really don't think so. I think he's been through enough now as a pro that any of those extraneous things, I don't think those things get to him. I think he does a really nice job of blocking out the noise for the most part and just getting the job done.
216-575-0403 is the number to call for Mary Kay Cabot. Northeast Factory Direct with 3 locations, plus the website you want to check out. West 140th Street, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid. And, of course, Freeway Drive, that's the new one. That is in Macedonia. We'll take a break, and also northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine is fueled by and energized by our friends at cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone!
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Birthdays for today: Mike McCormick, former Browns player, former owner in the NFL and in the Hall of Fame. Now Dave Wilcox, San Francisco. Jim Dandy, Jake Westbrook, Calvin Johnson, and Kevin Durant, all born on the 29th of September. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay, you mentioned earlier, Mary Kay Cabot is here, cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. You mentioned earlier talking about JoJo Nason, which is a great name, by the way. So he's got to be replaced for the rest of the year. How about Donovan Peoples-Jones? He was taken out of Michigan. I would have thought he'd have the first crack at it. He didn't. now I assume he's next man up, right?
Yeah, well, the reason why he didn't have first crack at it in the last game there against Washington is because he was inactive for that game. So he wasn't in uniform. They couldn't throw him out there. He'll be active for this game, and so he'll get his first touches both on offense and in the return game. He has extensive punt return experience from Michigan, and so he will get out there, and I would imagine that he will return some punts, as will some other guys.
Is there anybody on the waiver wire they're looking at too? Because that seems to be one of the first places you'd find players.
You know, they did bring in a wide receiver today for a visit. I don't know if they're going to sign him or not. Ryan Switzer, he had been cut recently by the Steelers, so that's somebody they were taking a look at. And then there are some other guys that are currently on their own roster that will, on their own practice squad, that they can get a look at to maybe do something like that.
The Browns play Pittsburgh in a couple of weeks. Does it still go on that they'll pick up a player like this off waivers just to pick his brain for a week or two and then show him the door when it's over? Or maybe he'll show enough to stay?
Yeah, there's always gamesmanship like that. So definitely things like that go on all the time. And, I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers do the same kind of thing.
I'm shocked by that.
You should be.
Yeah. The Houston Astros, what are they doing? The Browns defense was a concern. They've given up a lot of points. Is it still as concerning as it might have been 4 or 5 weeks ago? Or is you see light at the end of the tunnel?
There is light at the end of the tunnel. There are guys coming back, and I think that's key. I think, you might have Greedy Williams back this week. I think that will help. I think it's at least of mild concern that Denzel Ward is suffering with this groin injury because as a cornerback, you need to be able to run. And if you don't, if you're suffering from an injury like that, it's going to be difficult to turn on the jets and really do what you need to do. But Greedy should be back. Terrence Mitchell has played well in the back end for the most part. You've got Kevin Johnson back now. Mack Wilson, he only played a few snaps in the last game, but I think you'll see more of him. So I think help is on the way. Well,
it's interesting because these names, we just keep hearing these names. Now all of a sudden you put a number on them. Now all of a sudden you put a name on them, and they take on a whole new look. Some better than you might have thought by what you look at, and some not quite as good.
Yeah, I mean, you never really know until they get out there. And the thing about this coaching staff is they don't know either, right? I mean, you just don't know how these guys are going to perform. They did not have any preseason games. I mean, who knew that Wyatt Teller was going to go out and be the guard that he has been so far? Through 3 games, he is the 3rd-ranked guard in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. Now, we knew that he worked pretty hard in the offseason. We knew that he wanted to keep his starting job, but no one knew that he was going to be like this through the first 3 games. And I think that's been a huge bonus to the offensive line. So just as some of the fans are learning about these players, so are the coaches.
All right, so what are we learning about the defense, and how far does it have to go from here to be a defense that people are going to be worried about it? Are other teams worried about preparing for them?
Well, I'll tell you what. One of the best things, obviously, that you can do as a defense is take the ball away. And if they can continue to keep forcing turnovers, the Browns are going to win a lot of football games.
They'll take 5 a game?
If you win the turnover battle, you win the game 80% of the time or something like that. So if they continue to do that, and I have reason to believe that they will. I mean, these guys are emphasizing it. You can even see it in practice. In training camp, they did a lot of drills trying to get that ball out of there. And they've got guys going after the football a lot. It's the name of the game. I asked Joe Woods about that in his very first press conference that we had with him. And he talked about how that was basically, I mean, it could be the number 1 priority for the defense. So I think that they're living up to being a very opportunistic unit. And if they can continue to do that, and you know what, the Dallas Cowboys, they're turning that ball over. They turned it over, I think, 3 times against the Seahawks. You can get the ball away from them. And the Browns are going to be in a lot of games that way.
All right, so Myles Garrett is a couple of strip sacks already. He's been a force out there, signed the big contract. Is it too early, or is it too early to talk about this as possibly being the beginning of a career year for him, or are we so far away from that it's ridiculous to talk about.
No, I see him in the beginning stages of a career type of year. Now, last year, he was getting sacks in the early part of the season, but he just wasn't making those dominant plays like he is now. That's what you need from him. You need him to make the plays that change the football game, and he's doing that now. He did that against the Bengals. You know, that was arguably the biggest play of that football game. So when you're leaving a game and you're talking about Myles Garrett, that's what you want. And that's what the Browns did not have enough in his first 2 seasons. And so, yes, I would have to say that that now he actually does have a chance to live up to that lofty goal of his of being NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
It must be amazing for an offensive lineman. They're setting up to make the blocks, and then all of a sudden, you know the timing's off. Something happened that shouldn't have happened, and in this case, it's a fumble, a strip sack, and all that stuff. But the whole will of the offensive line gets taken away when a play like that happens, because usually it's also in scoring position.
Yeah, yes, absolutely, 100%. And that, that's what you need. Now, I think it'll be better for Myles if Olivier Vernon can get back on the field, because, then they will be less apt to be able to, give some chipping help to him and otherwise double team him. But the thing, again, and I mentioned this earlier, I do think it's key that they are moving him around. Why didn't anybody do that before? I don't know. I really don't understand it, but I think it's sort of unlocked the key to the game.
Right now, Smiley One, they're making it easy to invest in a new heating or cooling comfort system without breaking your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of the special high financing of 36 months with one select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They make it easy for your family to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for more details. We'll come back in a moment. Mary Kay Cabot is with us, and we are powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your 4-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
This date in the sports history, 1954, Willie Mays makes the outstanding over-the-shoulder catch, and that is in Game 1 of the World Series at the Polo Grounds. And the Giants win that game and come back here in Game 3 and 4 and beat the Indians, despite the fact the Indians won 111 games that year. So I'm wondering if that catch, that picture, is one that most sports fans have seen more than any other picture at all time. Mary Kay, can you think a football picture? Do you think, what's the most times you've seen a football play? Would it be the Immaculate Reception, maybe?
Yeah, maybe the Immaculate Reception. I would say that's probably right up there. And Dwight Clark, the catch.
Yeah, the catch. I asked when Dwight Clark was the late Dwight Clark was the general manager here. I asked him how often he thought of that catch that he made from Joe Montana, and he said every day. Why not? You make a play like that? Yeah. You got to think. You're walking down the steps from your bedroom to the kitchen. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I made that play, didn't I? Anyway, we'll do a show like that one of these days, and people can pick out their favorites. One of the interesting things about Ohio, if you're an Ohio State fan, you're in a situation where there's so many good players, and they wind up getting highly drafted, and then the Browns play them. And if you're an Ohio State fan, you can't root too hard against them. But yes, this week they'll see Elliott. I don't think, has he played against the Browns yet?
Yeah, I think he would have played. Yes, I think he would have played against the Browns the last time.
Okay.
The Browns and the Cowboys met. Yeah.
All right. So you got that. You got JK the other day. It's going to be that way all the way, I assume. The one thing I'm concerned about of other teams, and I should be more worried about the Browns. I just wonder with Cincinnati and their Burrow, their great quarterback to be. I just hope he doesn't get hurt. It just seems with that offensive line, they're going to have a problem with him, and I'd hate to see anything bad happen.
Yes, you would absolutely hate to see that. You've got to protect your investment. He is the future. He is their franchise quarterback. You cannot get him hurt, and they've got to try to find ways to not put him in harm's way.
All right, so this week you got the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott can put up huge numbers, as you know, but the defense has struggled. Do you think Cleveland's thinking that way? Go after the defense that struggled, or go do your own thing and let Dallas figure it out?
You know what? I think that the Browns are going to come up with a good game plan. This is a very good coaching staff, and I think we're seeing that. They know how to design plays in the red zone, and so I think they're going to pretty much do their own thing and play their own game and not get intimidated by, the fact that Dak threw for 470 yards in the last game. I don't think that's going to happen this game. I really don't see that.
Is this a game? Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just don't, so far, I'm not overly impressed with what I've seen from the Cowboys. And I don't know. I'm not overly worried about them.
How impressed are you with the AFC?
Well, you know what? I think that there are better teams that I've seen that the Browns are going to have to worry about. Obviously, we watched a great game last night. And they're not going to play the Chiefs, but I've seen some better things. I'm not too concerned about Dak and Ezekiel Elliott. These guys are struggling. The start under Mike McCarthy has not gone well. And just because we saw some big numbers put up against the Seahawks and it got into a shootout, a 38-31 shootout, there are some very real problems on this Dallas team.
I haven't seen the point spread, and my guess is Dallas probably a 6 or 7 point favorite, or did I just make that up?
No, you know what? I haven't seen it myself yet either. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe our guys can help us out with that. But I haven't seen it. And, of course, the game's on the road, so I'm sure the Cowboys are favored.
I'm just wondering, when you look at the schedule, you don't figure this one to be a win for the Browns, but things have happened to make it seem that it is possible. Is this one, in your mind, that you think they can walk away with?
Yes, I think this is one of those games on the schedule that they can absolutely walk away with. And the more that I see that the Cowboys are struggling with their special teams, They're struggling on their offensive line. They're really struggling on their offensive line. That doesn't match up well against the Browns' defensive line. I don't know. I see opportunities here for the Browns to go into Dallas and win this game.
Well, that changes the whole season if they do win it.
Mm-hmm.
I would think.
Yeah,
coming away at 3-1, yeah. And then you
to be at 3-1.
Then you got Indianapolis.
You're on your way to challenging for the playoffs if you can get out to a 3-1 start.
Right.
Now, the Cowboys, they've got a lot to play for. You don't want to go to 1-3, especially. I mean, Jerry Jones is not going to be a happy man if they end up falling to 1-3, because then you really are starting to put yourself behind the 8 ball for making it to the postseason.
Now, hold on a second. Is he ever a happy man?
I'm sure there are times. I'm sure
nobody's seen him, though. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct, 4 great locations if you include the website. They got east, west, and to the south, West 140th Street, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, the Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia, and northeastfactorydirect.com. Mary Kay Cabot and I return in a moment. Dennis Maniloff tomorrow, and we are powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line, a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Well, we've covered some of these questions. First one is, what has surprised you most about the Browns so far? We took care of that. Glenn Berger says the offense is working very efficiently. They are running the ball very well and using the pass effectively. Baker Mayfield looks good at quarterback, and hope that they would. I had hoped that they'd be 2-1 after 3 games. Jim Bell says at least on the surface, they have not been doing any dysfunctional things. Receivers seem to be accepting their role each game. Baker has played within the scheme, and the coaches and players don't give the media unnecessary responses to dissect. So the question is, are the Browns' days of dysfunction finally behind them? Mary Kay, this is a team that not too long ago went 0-16. We don't think of those guys, even the ones left over from those days, we don't think of them as losers anymore.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really do think the days of dysfunction are over under Kevin Stefanski. He's not going to tolerate that sort of thing, and neither will Andrew Berry. These guys are solid, they're self-assured, they're confident, they're running a sound program, they're up front with their players. I mean, I would have to think that the players are loving the way that they're treated, that they're dealt with, that they're talked to. It's just they're trying to do every single thing the right way, and I'm very impressed so far with what I've seen.
Yeah, I keep thinking of Stefanski and Berry getting together and saying, these guys are 0-16. How's that possible? It's not.
Well, you know, it's possible when you don't have a quarterback. I mean, it's very possible when you don't have a quarterback. You cannot win in the NFL if you have bad quarterbacks. I mean, you're seeing around the league right now that even good quarterbacks, you know, you have to be really good because the competition is so tough. I mean, look at some of the games that we've seen played out there. Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton,
Aaron
Tom
Rodgers.
Brady. It goes on and on and on. You have to be able to compete in that arena. And during those 0-16 and 1-15 years, the Browns just were not up to snuff in that regard.
I thought there was going to be a drop-off of quarterbacks, but new ones are coming in all the time. Guys you never heard of, and they're playing well enough to get another chance. Unfortunately, one who may not get another chance in his city is Mitchell Trubisky. They're not happy with him in Chicago. Is there interest? When you go around the league, do you hear anybody talk about him with any interest with another team?
No, not really, because I think people are still trying to, you know, figure out what's going on with him there. Are they going to try to, you know, go back to him, make this work, get this figured out? So too bad for Mitch. You know, obviously a local product. You'd like to see them do really well. It doesn't mean that he can't go on to be a good and winning quarterback, but it just means that right now, for whatever reason, it might not be the right situation. The one that has just blown the doors off the NFL this year so far is Josh Allen. He's somebody that I really liked coming out in 2018. I liked him a lot. I spent a lot of time, watching his game. I spent a lot of time talking to a lot of people about him because he was on the Browns' radar. And they kind of acted like it came down to Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield. But the truth of the matter is, John Dorsey only had eyes for Baker Mayfield. There was no way he was drafting Josh Allen. It wasn't going to happen. They more so kind of used that just to throw people off the scent and kind of keep people guessing. John Dorsey had nothing else in mind but Baker Mayfield.
You know, I wonder about that when you look at Josh Allen, who's not the prototype size quarterback. He's way too big for that. And they made a big deal about how coaches feel about big hands and measurables, things like that. But here's a guy, I'm wondering if his size took him out of the radar or took him away from maybe getting thought of higher.
You know what? It wasn't that. The thing that it was the fact that he was not accurate. And I saw that with my own two eyes. I actually saw when I was at the Senior Bowl, the very first day he went out there, you know, it was just weird because he threw some footballs that even the football itself wondered where the heck it was going. I mean, it was just, he had this wild arm and it was kind of out of control. Now he pulled it back in the last few days of the Senior Bowl. He had a nice game that week and, he showed a lot of really good things, but that was what scared people off about him. That's why I spent so much time talking to people about him, including a lot of coaches. And offensive coaches said, no, you can't do it. You can't make an inaccurate college quarterback into an accurate pro. And I kept thinking, why not? Why can't you with the right coaching? Why can't you do it? I didn't believe it. I talked to Jordan Palmer, who is his quarterback's tutor, guru, whatever. And I interviewed him on video and he was like, absolutely, you can make an inaccurate college quarterback very accurate. And he was adamant about it. He knew that this could happen. And what you're seeing right now are some amazing throws, some amazing accuracy from Josh.
If you have a question or comment for Mary Kay or any of our guests, and you can't make it during the show time, which is live from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, you can drop us a note at the voicemail of Truth and Reason. That's at 216-200-6650, 216-200-6650. And we are powered by cleveland.com. Back in a moment, one more time.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Dennis Maniloff joins us. That'll be from 6 until 7 right here on cleveland.com and wherever else you can find us. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. We're here from 6 until 7, Monday through Thursday. Then Dave Bacon has his Weekend Winter Show on Friday. Mary Kay Cabot is with us from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. Mary Kay, the first 3 games are in the books, 2 wins and 1 loss. Now the next 3 come up, and you've got Dallas, Indianapolis, and Pittsburgh. What do you look for in the next 3? Can they match what they did in the first 3?
Yeah, you know what? I think it gets a little bit tougher. Again, going on the road and playing at Dallas, a team that has so much to play for with their backs against the wall, that's not going to be easy. I'm sure that these guys, it's really gut check time for the Cowboys. It really is. I mean, they've got to dig deep and stop, turning the ball over and doing all the things that they're doing. The Colts, that's back here again. And once again, now I think with all the talent the Browns have on this team and with the way that they're coached this year, there are very few games that I would look at and say, I don't think they can win that particular game. If they were playing the Chiefs, I would probably say the Chiefs are going to win that game. When they went in to play the Ravens, I had a strong feeling that the Ravens were going to win that game. But most other teams that you find that are sort of, in the middle of the pack or even just above average right now, I think the Browns can beat those teams. And that's where they're going to have to make up some ground right now and just be ready for whatever happens down the stretch. I mean, you've got some pretty good defenses. The Steelers' defense is pretty good, and some others that they will face. So I think it's a winnable stretch. I think they can win 2 out of these next 3.
I think most of us would take it at that point. It's interesting. When you handicap a season before it starts, you come up with all kinds of scenarios. Once the season starts 2 or 3 games in, most people have a pretty good idea what teams are going to be doing and if they're going to be improving or falling back. And right now, it looks like to me there's better teams in the AFC than there is in the NFC.
Yeah, the thing, though, that I find about the NFL, and I think it might even be more true this season because of COVID, is that a lot of times you don't really 100% know exactly what a team is going to do or be until you get to about mid-season for some of the teams. You can really pull away in that second half and go on a streak and get strong and hit your stride in the second half of the season. Other teams can fall apart. Injuries are a huge factor. So I don't think you can draw too many conclusions at this point, but I think that we're starting to see that the Browns have a pretty good formula to win some games. And, now my 9-7 prediction maybe doesn't look as lofty as it may have when I first made it.
Right. I mean, you look at it, and these teams, they just change in front of your eyes. And I think a lot of it is what you alluded to, that they're installing their own new systems, and so many key players, whether it's a quarterback or wide receivers or running backs, they're learning a new system, and it does take 4 to 5 to 6 weeks to get it installed properly.
Yeah, there's that. And then you look around the league, and some teams that you thought were going to be really good have suffered some really serious injuries, and their chances probably just aren't going to be that good this year. So you never really know what you have, especially this season. But I still think the Browns are on track for a pretty good season.
All right, very good. And we will talk to you. We'll see you next week after the Browns go down to Dallas. You're going down, right?
I am going, yes. Leaving on Saturday. I'll be home on Monday.
Have a great trip. We'll see you on Tuesday night. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, that'll do
See
it
you
for
next-
us. Thanks to Mary Kay Cabot. She's terrific from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. We'll see you tomorrow night with Dennis Maniloff, and Daryl Ryder will be here on Thursday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this is the most recent.